Hello, this is the WT56B, which is a 22-inch wheel trimmer with a Briggs & Stratton engine. And this is how you get it when it's delivered to you in a cardboard box like this. So what we're going to do is unpack it, take it all out, and then I'll show you exactly how to put it together so you can start trimming around your garden. So here it is, all unpacked. We just need to do a little bit of assembly, but you can see it's a really strong, heavy-duty weed trimmer, ideal for cutting down tall weeds and long grass, so lots and lots of uses. But we do need to just put a few little bits on it before we can start it, including the handlebars. But first of all, I'm going to put on this guard. So the way to do that is quite simple. We just got to tip it back like this, and then we can offer it up into position. So it's very simple to go on. Everything is pre-drilled. We've got the holes here and everything we need, and we've got all the screws here. So I'm just going to tip the screws out and the nuts and bolts onto there so I can see them. And what I've got to do is to offer that up to there. So I just need to pull through these strong nylon cords like that. And I'm going to line these holes up with these holes that are just up there. And if I just get one through and I can locate the hole and just start and twist that in there. So you need a crosshead screwdriver for these, and just get that into there, and then we can get them all started off, and then we can tighten them all up. That one goes there. Okay, so just need to tighten those up. And we want to get these fairly tight so they're not going to vibrate off. Okay, so they're all nice and tight, so that's firm on there like that. And so I'm just going to lower that down, and there are just two more nuts and bolts to put in. So what I'm going to do is just pop round and do this one at this side first. So we've got the two nuts and bolts, one either side, and it's just going to hold this guard onto the main red framework. So get the bolt and push it down through like that, and then we've got the washer and the nut to put on the underside. It's a nylock nut as well, so that isn't going to come off. That won't vibrate off as long as we get that on nice and tight to start with. So we'll just put that there, and then I'm just going to get my spanners, and we're going to put that one on there and that one there, and then we can tighten that on. Just make sure that that's really tight. Just finish it off that way. Then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Right, so they're both nice and tight, and they're 10mm spanners, by the way, that you need for that. So next we can put the handlebars up. So that one just lifts into place. It is literally just a case of getting it into position, and it will then, it's adjustable to the height that you want, and then it's just a case of locking it back with these levers, and then you can tighten it with this black winged fastener just in there. So that just gets it nice and tight for you and gets it into the exact position that you want it for when you're using this machine. So that's the handlebar all in place and ready to go. Just very quickly, what else have we got? Well, it comes complete with its oil. So we've got the oil there, Cobra engine oil. It's got the spark plug spanner for you. It's got the manuals that you need, the engine, and then one for the machine itself. And then these plastic cones, these go underneath if you want to change the height of cut. It comes with this one fixed, but you can see you would put this one on, take that one off, put this one on if you wanted to trim the grass or the weeds closer, or if you wanted to leave it longer, you would put this one on so that you're getting, probably 10-15 centimeters then of growth. So they're just to adjust the height of cut. And we've also got some spare cutting lines here, these tough nylon lines, and when you fit these, they can only go in one way. You can't pull them out. No matter how hard you pull, that won't come out. But if I trace that through, and this is the other end, it will pull through like that. So that's how you put them in. So when it comes to putting a new one in to replace it, we find the bigger slot, put it in, just give it a bit of a poke to get it into the hole like that, and it will come out the other end there. And what we're aiming for is about 2 inches or 50 millimeters out through there. Don't pull too much out because it will unbalance it, but it also means it can then pull out too easily, and that will work just right. So as we can see, as that spins round, it doesn't actually hit the sides there. So about 2 inches, all you need to pull them through, and they're very easy to replace, and you've got 4 spares there for when you need them. Next thing is to get the starter record cord here. We want that to be attached here to the handlebar, just makes it easier for starting. So what we need to do is push back the red lever here. That takes the compression out of the engine, and then we can pull that back and literally just hook it through this metal hook there. So when we do need to start it, it's really easy to do. And finally, before we can start it, we've got to put some petrol and oil in it. So this one is the oil, this one is the petrol here, and we can take that off and put it in. Now this petrol here is just unleaded E10 petrol. That's absolutely fine to use, but bear in mind it doesn't last as long as the old petrol. So only ever leave it in the tank, in the engine, in the machine basically for about 30 days, because then it tends to just lose its strength and weakens, and it makes it harder to run the machine. So we put that in there, and we never leave it in over winter. So at the end of the season, when you're packing this away and not going to use it anymore, what we need to do is to use it all up. So we're leaving it with an empty carburettor. There are additives you can put in there to stabilize it, and Briggs & Stratton do them, and they recommend that. It just makes the engine burn cleaner, and it's much more efficient. So you can add that to the fuel when you're doing that. So that is the petrol in, and then we've got the oil just here. This is the dipstick, as you can see. It comes with the oil. So we've got the Cobra oil just here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour that into there. You could use a funnel if you want, but it pours nice and easily. And we want 600 millilitres in here, which is what this bottle of oil is. So we're going to put all of it in, okay. Okay, and then what we always do, even though we know we've put the right amount of oil in there, we want to just test that with the dipstick. So I'm just going to wipe the dipstick so it's clean to start with, and any oil off the top. Ideally leave this just a few minutes to so it's settled down, but this will give us a good idea. Lock it into the position, open it up, and then we can see on the dipstick, if we look nice and closely there, the oil is in those little hatched areas. The little hole at the bottom is the lower level, the hole at the top is the upper level of oil that we want. So that is absolutely right there. So we can pop that back in, and then we can lift it down, and I can show you how we start it. So before we start it, just to explain the controls, they're very simple to use. We've got the pull start, as we know there, which we would pull. This is just to hold it in position. We've got this lever here, which is the throttle. So it's forward for on and the maximum revs. When we want to start the engine, that's what we do, and we pull this cord here. To stop the engine, we just pull that back onto the off position, and the engine will cut out. When we want to put the cutting head into gear, what we do is we have to pull this back, this red lever here. This is a safety device, and then we push that lever forward and it locks into place, and we can then start doing the cutting of the weeds and the grass. And when we want to stop cutting, we just release that lever and it stops the cutting head, but the engine will continue until we pull that lever back. So it's really simple, just one on the left and one on the right. So to get started, we push it forward, and then we just give it a pull like this. Now obviously I'm using it on a mown lawn. You wouldn't use it on this. This is designed for long grass and thick weeds that you want to clear, but it makes a really, really good job of doing it.
Remember to register your Cobra online at www.cobragarden.co.uk, and always have your Cobra serviced regularly. Check the website for your nearest dealer.